All right, well, we're going to start. This is going to be the first in a 3 or 4 part series about dog aggression. What causes it, what to do if you're stuck in the middle of it, how to break up a dog fight safely, and what to do if you actually get bit. Now we're going to start this little series, part 1 today, on the getting bit part, because I think that's important. I know a lot of people get bit and they have more complications and they do things to make the bite worse, even if they go to a recognized medical facility who don't quite have the experience that I've had with dog bites. In the guard dog company, we were dealing with dog bites on a regular basis. And I know a lot of people say, well, if a dog bites me, I'll punch him in the face and I'm a tough guy, right? Well, first, let me, for the sake of credentials, let me point out one thing here. So, if a really good trained dog happens to nail you, this is what it can look like 20 years later. And that means you don't have much feeling in your fingertips. It means that your fingers don't always straighten out when you want them to straighten out. And at the time it happens, it means you got 2 or 3 surgeries in front of you yet to go. So you really don't want to get nailed by a good dog. There is no way a human ever wins a fight with a dog. I don't care if somebody shoots him, because the aftermath is the real pain. What happens when a dog bite, people are afraid of their teeth and they're thinking, oh my God, there's gonna be blood everywhere. Bites, good bites. I'm talking about, when I call them good bites, if you're in the guard dog business, there are good bites and not so good bites. So a good bite that really stops somebody rarely bleeds, even if they hit an artery. The reason is a dog's teeth, the way their jaws are made when they're getting prey, those teeth are just puncturing. They're going clean right into flesh, right? That's one reason you want your dog to practice or to target on or hopefully hit fleshy areas. So the teeth go in, and then those powerful jaw bones clamp down, and as they squeeze down, these jaw bones will take whatever holes have been made by the teeth and literally push them back together. They flatten them, they squeeze them with the power of their jaws. So there's not a lot of blood, but there is a lot of damage, especially when the dog starts slinging their head. What happens in this case is very simple. A lot of people, when they're first bit, report not feeling it that much, but the recovery period is miserable. I mean, really, really miserable. You're going to be swollen, you're going to be sore, because when those jaws clamp down, what they're doing is they're breaking every blood vessel in that area that's covering their mouth. So you're going to have tremendous bruising. So the first thing we're going to do when we want to stop a dog fight is ice it. You need three things. Yeah, you need 3 things that are imperative in the first 15 to 25 minutes after a dog bite that will greatly minimize the pain and recovery rate if it's a really hard bite. The first thing you're going to need is peroxide. Get you a bottle of peroxide, get to it somehow, pour it on that wound. Douse it. If it's an extremity, stick your hand, pour it in a bowl of water, stick it in there. The bacteria in a dog's mouth, that's why they don't get salmonella. Salmonella is afraid to get in their mouth. So you want to soak that wound for 10 to 15 minutes with peroxide. Just pour it on it, pour it on it, pour it on it. Stick your hand in a bowl full of peroxide. Soon as because that's going to really, really go leaps and bounds to killing the immediate bacteria that's going to be still on the surface, all up in this area up here. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to ice it. I get you an ice pack, and you're going to clamp it on there for at least 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, it's not going to do that much good. 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off, 20 minutes on. If you will ice that wound immediately for 20 minutes, you're going to reduce the swelling and the bruising by anywhere from 60 to 80%, which means the next morning when you wake up, instead of having an arm bigger around than a basketball, you're going to have an arm that's almost normal size. So first the peroxide, then the ice. The next thing you need is a good antibiotic. If you're doing a lot of dog work, if you're dealing with big dogs, it would not be a bad idea to go to your doctor and get a script for some ampicillin, amoxicillin, or cephalexin. Keep you 2,000 milligrams of that with you at all times. Right after you peroxide and you ice, you're going to take your antibiotics, then you can go to a doctor or ER. What you're not going to do is allow them to sew that wound shut. Some of the worst damage I've ever seen has come from people who went to ERs and well-meaning doctors who weren't really versed on dogs sewed the wound up, stitched it closed so it would heal better, and there's still bacteria in there that was not cleaned out, did not get killed properly, and the next 2-3 days later, these people, one gentleman I know had his hand, he was bitten, one of my guard dogs nailed him on the arm like I've been nailed. He went to an ER instead of letting me doctor him, and 3 days later he called me, his entire arm was black from his fingertips to his elbow. So they stitched up the holes as best they could, and they trapped bacteria in there, and that caused a problem. So if it's a real large gash and they want to stitch it for healing purposes, make sure they put a shunt in there, a little tube, to allow drainage. That's going to be very, very important. So remember, peroxide, ice, antibiotic. Those are your three first steps, first aid steps in any dog bite. Now, one reason I'm talking about dog bites is because of the trivia question. So, what was the first police action? Where did it happen? And what kind of dogs, what breed of dogs were used? Very first ones to be used as official police dogs. A lot of people sent me some stuff on tracking dogs, early tracking dogs. Well, the first place they weren't official police dogs. Second, they were tracking. That's search and rescue, that's bloodhound work. So, for future trivia questions, if I say police work, I'm going to put it into three categories: apprehending somebody, or finding drugs, or finding bombs. Those are your three main criteria for a police dog. So when was it, you say? Well, I get to keep all my bumper stickers this week because no one quite got it there. And I know Ghent and Belgium and 1890 and all that stuff. 1886, Hildesheim, Germany, the first time police officially used dogs. There had been an exodus, and this is kind of timely in today's world, there had been an exodus of Roma, or gypsies, and Jewish people from Russia, where they were being pretty well mistreated by the Russians. They had settled in this area around Germany where they felt that these people were a drain on their economy. They tried to get them to move, they couldn't get them to move. The police chief said to himself, you know what, we got a lot of dogs, we can get them moving. So he went and got the national official dog of Germany, which is the Deutsch dog, the Great Dane, and he gathered up a half a dozen Great Danes from the different people in the area. Police officers took them, and within 3 weeks they moved several hundred of these squatters, I guess you'd call them, that had settled in that area. And they moved them that quickly and that efficiently. They'd been trying for 6 months before they got those Great Danes in there, and that got them out. So there's your trivia answer. I guess just stay tuned if you're still interested in getting one of these highly professional leashes. Stay tuned. We're going to have another trivia question coming up. We may do it Wednesday or Thursday. So just like, click, share, subscribe, do all that fancy stuff. Keep looking on Facebook, and we'll have you another trivia question. We'll see how smart you really are, and we will do nothing but dog aggression and dog fighting for the next 3 to 4 sessions. Thanks.